Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Crafty Beer Reviews. Today I will be reviewing Stone Matt's Burning Roses. This is the latest special release from Stone, and this beer is definitely a very, very special release. Mainly because, as you guys probably know, last year Matt Courtwright, who was a brewer at Stone, had an accident at the brewery and then he passed away. So, he had a lot of really interesting and innovative ideas about brewing from what I've read, articles about him, and interviews from employees that have talked about him. And to honor his memory, Stone wanted to brew a beer for him, and they actually chose this beer right here, which is one of his own recipes, which I think is really cool. It's a very nice way to commemorate and honor a brewer, is by having not only a beer brewed in his honor, but also just having one that he did as well. Not only that, Stone took it a step further, and they are donating money from the sales of this beer to GoDesignInc.org as well as TFK. These are two charities that Matt was involved with when he was alive, and they're also two of his favorites. So I think it's really, really nice that Stone is doing that. I think it's a really, and it's definitely a unique beer. This is a Belgian-style Saison that has been brewed with smoked, or cherrywood-smoked malts. So very interesting. Never would have thought I would have tried something like that. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and take our first sniff. Wow, that's crazy. I wasn't really sure whether the cherrywood smoked malt would be huge up front, and it's not. I definitely get a soft, kind of subtle smokiness. It's not that big, peaty, real meaty smoke in there. But I'm definitely getting the smoke. I'm getting a little bit of some kind of peppery, spicy notes. I'm getting a little bit of fruit esters from the yeast strain. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of kind of a sweeter malt base as well. A very slight type of herbal note. Yeah, this smells like a very unique beer, and so far I would say that the Cherrywood Smoked Malt actually smells like it's really integrated with the beer. It's not overtaking it, which is really nice. So let's go ahead and take our first sip. Here's to Matt, here's to Stone, and here's to you guys as well. Cheers. Oh yeah. Smoke's definitely coming through a lot more in the flavor than it was in the aroma. So right off the bat, I'm definitely getting that cherry wood. And it's interesting too because it's very smoky, but it's also very woody. It's not necessarily like that kind of peaty or sometimes smoky meat, but it's very oaky. It's very just earthy, woody smoke. Definitely getting a little bit of a lemony, herbal type of note in there. A little bit of kind of a white peppery spiciness. I'm getting a little bit of a slight orange type of character, not much too. And then I'm getting a little bit of malty breadiness, a little bit of kind of sweet bread on the back end as well. But this is very interesting. It definitely does not taste like your typical Saison in the least, but I would say that it's better than I was assuming, because the first thing I thought of when I thought of a smoked beer mixed with a Saison was, I don't know how that's going to work, but yeah, this is actually pretty tasty. It's on the lighter side of medium for a body, and it actually has a slightly creamy type of mouthfeel. It's not as sharp and champagne-y as some types of Saisons typically are. As a matter of fact, the carbonation is actually a little bit more mild than you would typically expect from this style. And as I'm sipping on it more, the smoke really incorporates itself in almost every single stage, because you get the smoke up front, you kind of get a little bit of that smoke during the middle palate, and then you're getting the smoke even in the finishing. There's a little bit of a smoky type of oaky bitterness on the back end that kind of lingers, and it really sets your palate up to go for another sip. It kind of dries it out as well. As far as the 10.5% is concerned, though, wow, that's crazy. I can't smell any alcohol, I can't taste any alcohol, and there's really almost no burn to speak of. So this thing is actually pretty dangerously drinkable. I mean, having an entire bomber of this to yourself, yeah, you'll be feeling pretty good later. Which means I'll be feeling pretty good later. Yeah, that's right. It's a very interesting beer, though. Like I said, you get smoke all the way through. You're getting those spicy kind of yeast characteristics. You're getting like some slight fruity yeast esters as well, coming from that Belgian yeast strain. You're getting a little bit of citrus, like an orange. You're getting a little bit of that lemony herbal note. You're definitely getting some kind of sweet malty breadiness on the back end as well. And it kind of works. I mean, it balances itself out pretty nicely. That being said, if you're not much of a smoked beer person, I don't know how much you'll enjoy this. I would say for the people that do usually find smoked beers offensive, this would probably be a good one to try just because I think the smoke's integrated more. It's also a little bit softer. It's not quite as rugged as some of the peat smoked ones or some of the real kind of meaty smokes you can get in beers. It's not too forceful, but it's definitely in here. So I think it's one worth trying, and certainly, you know, it's cool that Stone's donating money from this to charities as well. So it's going for a good cause while you're drinking beer. Alright guys, so as far as my rating goes, I'm going with an 8.9 out of 10 for this one. I think it's a very nice beer, and it's really enjoyable. It's definitely not your typical Saison. And I would have to say that I wish there was a little bit more of your typical Belgian type of characteristics in this. That being said, I'm impressed with the way that they incorporated the Cherrywood smoked malts into this. They did a very nice job. Didn't overpower it whatsoever, and I really wish I had a chance to try some of his other beers that he brewed. I know that Stone is releasing some of them, but I believe they're draft only. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. Alright, so as far as my musical recommendation, tonight I want you guys to check out a group by the name of Still Time and their 2007 record Stream of Consciousness. They're an interesting band. They're kind of folksy, they're kind of bluesy, they're kind of classic rock and roll. They've got a lot of just kind of interesting songs, and that album in particular is very uplifting. It's a lot about life and just everyday events. It's a fun rock record. You have some really upbeat stuff, and Stone even said that they want this beer to be in celebration of Matt's life, not mourning in his death. So I think that's also a really nice sentiment, and I think that record will really pair well with this beer. Alright guys, that does it for this beer review, and remember, I hope whatever you're doing involves good craft beer. See ya.